Hello everyone and welcome to our kind of new show setup today. It's quite exciting. So this is going to be a show that's going to come out maybe every Friday.
At the moment, it's every Friday. Possibly that might change.
Might change.
Say Friday at the moment.
Friday at the moment, we'll see. So we thought that we are doing so much really exciting stuff at the moment. We've been all over the place and there's nothing better than on a Friday or a different day.
On a different day, yeah.
Doing a little roundup of our week for you guys at home. Now we want to do this so it's kind of a more of an interactive experience. So Craig has actually got some of the comments that's been happening throughout the week on all of the different posts that we've done, and also to share with you our winners of the week as well. Now, we've had a busy time. We've been all over the place this week. So on Tuesday, me and Tony went to the Morgan tour, the Morgan factory tour up in Malvern.
So it's part of our members club experience now, isn't it? So we're in the Classic Lounge, which is a members club here. And we kind of want to put on events throughout the year, all over the country, because we talk to people and we interact with people all over the country. So it's a good excuse to get out and about and go and see different places.
Yeah, and we went to the Morgan tour this week. We've been to the Lotus tour before. Now, I have to say, the Morgan tour was very different compared to Lotus. I mean, at Lotus, there was lots of real heavy machinery, thousands of people, I think, working. And in this Morgan factory, it felt much more intimate. It was smaller, everything seemed a little bit more hands-on, even though it was very hands-on in the Lotus factory. It was really hands-on at Morgan, and every section was quite nicely laid out, and you go through one door from the kind of where they're making the chassis, then into where they start creating all of the bodywork, and mostly everything is done by hand.
So when you go to Lotus, I guess that's like what I would consider a main dealer, main factory to be. And I've never been to Morgan, but I've heard lots of things that it's very much, like you say, very hands-on, which we are here, very hands-on. We're still essentially an independent garage, I guess. So how different, I'd like to know how different it is from here.
So I guess with it being kind of a factory where things are getting churned out, not so much so as Lotus was like crazy churned out, it seems a little bit more like, so for example, they start on the car and the really specialist person on that section does everything on that section. So there's just that one person that does it so much at the end, they actually sign their name off on that piece. So when they go back, if there's something wrong, it can be like, oh, Steve did that.
Right.
Steve messed up there.
Right.
Naughty old Steve.
But that's true, actually, because didn't we have a car, I don't know if it was Morgan or not, that it was someone came to our show and it was the Rolls Royce that we had, and someone came to the show and realised who had made the grille because it was done in a certain way.
Yeah, so the grills that they have with all of the little rivets in, everything is done by hand.
Right.
Like it's bent by hand. Those individual what's where the air gets in. I can't think of it. The intake thing, they're all done by hand. So it's going to be as perfect as they can possibly make it, but none of them are exactly the same. And the line, as you look down a Morgan, as you're sitting in the driver's seat and you look down the Morgan bonnet, they cannot be completely in line. So once you've had, what they said was quite lovely, quite romantic, is once you've had a Morgan for quite a long time, you look at it and you think it's perfect and everything's in complete line, but actually it never can be. So once you've owned it for a little while, you notice these little things like, oh, that one is ever so slightly, like the minusculely bit out from the other line of them.
But that's true with any car. You get used. I've got a Land Rover Defender, which isn't perfect, but I know where its imperfections are, and our van, our work van, I've had forever. I feel like I've had it forever. It's done 250,000 miles, but I can confidently go from here to Scotland and know it will get me there.
Yeah.
Whereas I could trade that in and go and get a new van, and I won't know those imperfections. So it's really interesting. The longer you own a car,
the more you kind of see.
Absolutely.
But like, I guess the kind of difference is you've got people who are, they're all working on that one car. It's not passed from person to person so much. I guess it is in the fact that the person who does the woodwork isn't going to do the metalwork because they're individual skill sets. But that one person is working on that car all the time. And I guess it's more of a, what's the word? Like the line where Production line.
Production line, yeah,
Production
yeah.
line. So you've got lots of people doing the same thing over and over again, but that when that whole car is gone, it moves on to the next bit. Whereas here, because we have such a mix of different classics, there's people working on different things all of the time.
Yeah.
And it's like, so Little John can be working on an MG, and
Yeah.
then he moves over to a Jensen, or so it's different in that kind of respect. Whereas they know what they're doing every single day. And it's going to be the same kind of thing, and they're working to the same outline.
So how many
every
are they
time.
doing at any one time?
Oh, God.
Do you just
well,
see one going through? Because like Lotus, isn't it? Wow, was it every 17?
every 17 minutes?
17 minutes and a mirror comes off the production line.
They didn't really say anything like
Okay.
that. But
But how many do you see when you're
well,
standing?
so when you're standing there, I think we saw about. Well, what's tricky is it's hard to tell because most of the things that you see in the workshops are actually like the kind of, what's the word for the one that they do the outlines from. So it's like the demo car.
Right, okay, yeah.
And then they make their section of that fit to that demo car, and then that is taken along and taken along and taken along. So you don't really see like 5 or 6 lined up. You see 5 or 6 of the different
Yeah.
types of
Like
cars.
A bonnet or a
Yeah.
a grill or whatever.
Yeah,
Right,
so
okay.
it's hard to kind of tell. But in the finishing room where they were doing kind of all of the interiors and things like that, I think there was about 6 or 7, but I can't say that they were all the same car because mostly Morgans are made to order.
Yes,
They
yeah.
said there was over 1,400 or different types of paint that you can
Right.
choose from.
So there's nothing. There's like when you go and buy a new car now, it's somewhere. You know, it's somewhere sitting in a car park ready. It's not the case with
No,
Morgan.
no.
It's made when you order it.
Made when you order it, and each individual car had the information of where it was going
Wow.
and what they wanted on that car. So, for example, our tour guide went over and went, oh, okay, this one is for, didn't say the person's name because
Yep.
you're not allowed, but it's going to Singapore.
Wow.
And this one's going, oh, this one's United States. So
Right.
it was really interesting that each individual car had, instead of like all these computers and things like that, it just had the information on a piece of paper on what they wanted and all of the spec and everything.
Did they say how long it takes to make one car? So if you put in an order, did they say how long it is until you get
Well,
that car?
they said originally they had a really long wait time of about 9 years.
Wow.
But that was because people were ordering cars and then the kind of
yeah.
back. And this is just me remembering, so if I'm wrong, sorry. I think it was about a year or something
Wow.
like that.
Still a long time to wait, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. But then I suppose if you're getting a car that is exactly what you want,
Exactly.
hand built, then I don't know.
And on the headrest, you can have your name engraved. Like everything is completely made to how you would love to have it.
So how many of our members or guests went along with you?
So we had about 9 people come along with us, which was really lovely. It was a really nice kind of intimate group. I do feel that if you did go in a bigger group, you wouldn't get as much out of it, just because, so you have your earpiece in, so you can hear the tour guide all the time, because it is really quite noisy in the factories, but the spaces, you'd be quite squished because you have to stay in the red lines.
Yeah.
So if it was in a really, really big group, you might be like really quite far at the back and not really
Yeah.
be able to
Right,
see
okay.
what they're
Yeah.
talking about.
We'll try and do more. So that's they aim with all of these experiences that obviously we've done Lotus, we've done Morgan. I think we'd like to do Lotus, certainly Lotus again, because
Oh,
it's
yeah, it
so
was-
local
it
to
was
us.
brilliant.
But we'll try and get to as many sort of factories and speak to-
Caterham, their new headquarters, looks really cool.
Yeah.
We'll try and do a lot more. So if people want to get involved, obviously go onto the website, have a look at the events bit, and you can see on there. But whilst you were away, we did a brilliant job of live.
Probably
You
the
did.
best one we've ever done. It's
Yeah.
what I've
Oh.
heard.
What the comments
It's
say.
what I've heard.
Are you sure that's what the comments are saying?
Apart from your family members who said,
Yeah.
"Where's Molly?"
Yeah, yeah. The general consensus is that it's probably the best one we've ever
Okay,
done.
we'll see about that. We'll see about that.
So Dave, it took us 6 attempts, didn't it?
Yes.
Our record is 7, but it took
Oh
us
my
6
gosh.
attempts to find a winner of the Royal Enfield. Dave and his wife Diane got that. That hasn't been delivered yet, but I spoke to Dave the day afterwards. He was with Diane at the time. They're really happy. So Dave has wanted an older classic bike for a while. He fancied sort of buying something, and then this has come along. So he's very, very happy.
We
and
got
then
that for £4.
£4.
Four
Not bad for a
pounds.
And it was
classic
one
bike.
ticket, so it was literally £4.
£4. There you go.
And then
Well, it's just like the Jaguar that we did for the
yeah.
Cancer Support Suffolk. That was one ticket,
One
£5.
ticket, yeah.
Car.
Absolutely. And then
Crazy.
secondly was the Porsche Boxster, which was a big one for Tuesday because that sold
Yes.
out almost a week beforehand. Andrew won that one. we tried phoning Andrew, he didn't answer, but he called me that night, and he is well happy.
Oh, I
So what we've
bet.
done with Andrew is I spoke to him, and obviously he won it on the Tuesday. I spoke to him on the Wednesday, and he was going away on Saturday. So he was like, "Oh, it'd be nice if." So he's going to travel Europe.
Oh,
It would be
wow.
nice if the Porsche could get there before then. And I was like, "It's just not possible." Tony is our only driver, and he's in Scotland at the moment. So I was like, "That's not possible." But then I called upon someone else, and we managed to get the Porsche to him on the Thursday. So I don't know if he's taken it to Europe. That was the plan. He just commented by saying, "Oh, it'd be nice if I had it here because I could take that rather than my own
Right.
car." That's kind of why I thought, let's try and get it to him. I don't know whether he'll take it with him or not. I'm not sure.
The photos would be awesome.
That'd
be
So
so
less
cool.
than 5 days after
It's off.
leaving here.
Yeah.
It's
Well, I've been chatting to Louise. So Louise is Andrew's wife. She didn't believe him to start with. There was a comment on the live video that said I didn't believe he'd won, but now I've watched it,
Yeah.
I can see. So I've been chatting to her a couple of times, and I have said that any adventure, I think it will be a car that they keep.
Yeah.
So any adventures that they go on, I think they will send pictures back to us, which will be nice.
the fact that it is a slightly more modern car than what we usually do.
You weren't sure, were you?
No,
But-
no, I was not sure on that one at all.
Really? I
Yeah.
love it. I
So-
really do.
I mean, I love it, but I was just thinking because obviously we're classic car people, how a 2013 car would go down, but no, it went really well.
But
really
I
well.
think it is nice to have a little bit of a change sometimes, and a little mix up, a little bit of a new flavour come in.
Yes.
Because then I guess it keeps it fresh for everyone as well, doesn't it?
Good luck, everybody. Are we ready?
We're ready.
1280. 1280 is. We'll try and give the winner a call as well. 1280. 1280 is. I'll highlight it there. Let me just check that. 1280. 1280. Andrew Thompson. There we go. Andrew Thompson. So, Andrew, I'll try and give you a call now. Congratulations. Good luck. 1356. 1356. 13. Oh, here we go. 1356. Let's take it into the middle.
Dave Emmett.
It is right, isn't it?
1356.
1356. And here we go. So Dave Emmett. Dave Emmett, congratulations. You've got a Royal Enfield. Personally, my favourite bike that we've got in. So congratulations. I like that one.
We've had a really busy week in the workshop as well, but you'll see more of that next week. But Rob has been writing Talking Classics again, and you've had a really good guest, haven't you, recently?
Yeah, Talking Classics, it's been a really interesting project for me, I suppose. Working, joining here a couple of years ago and then working in around classic cars, and then all of a sudden we're working with Ed Stafford from Channel 4 and Discovery Channel, Stephen Norman, the guys from Caffeine and Machine. It's just kind of, it's been an interesting project. And most recently, working with Grace Webb from Grace's Amazing Machines. Obviously, we've all got young children, so it was, nice to hear her thoughts. And, particularly for me, I've got 2 little girls, so seeing someone like Grace, who's a primary school teacher and then moved into TV presenting, and it's really nice, and it was really an interesting chat with her. It was really nice.
And what's interesting as well, you say you've got 2 little girls, and you've got a nice classic as well. You've got the MG Magnet. Now, we've had a couple of comments come in, and it's actually really lovely when you guys send us emails and comment along to our posts and our stories. So a gentleman has said, "Thank you for all your competition cars and for still selecting some wonderful 4-doors as your latest Zephyr." So that's really nice and really interesting, because when you think of a classic, you normally think of an MGB with a 2-door, but having a 4-door makes it a bit more of a family car, like the car you've got. And how do you feel about that, Rob? Do you enjoy it being a 4-door rather than a kind of a regular classic as you'd think as a 2-door?
Yes, I mean, there's an element of there's no seat belts in the Magnet, so the kids can't go in there in their car seats or anything, but I can see that as they get older, it's a very usable classic.
So is there no seatbelts in the front?
So the seatbelt's in the front,
Yeah.
but not in the back.
Okay.
Right.
So,
Right.
and obviously there's no ISOFIX points or anything like that for car seats. So right now, because they're still in the small car seats, they've been in the car with me, and they've sat on our laps while we're driving around and stuff. But
Obviously not on.
not on the
roads.
main roads, no. I was driving, she was sat on my wife's lap. But yeah, I can see as they get older that they will love. So my 2-year-old, she absolutely loves it. She hears me pull into the driveway, and all I hear is "Daddy's old car, Daddy's old car" as I'm driving in, And yeah, we've got modern cars as well. We've got an Audi A3 and a Vauxhall Astra and things, but she's not really interested in those. It is that classic car, and I just think, when I first started here, I mean, it's almost 2 years now. I appreciated the look of some cars, and I liked the story behind some cars, but I certainly wasn't a typical petrol head, and I definitely wasn't a classic car person. But since being here, I kind of get it now, Just the first time driving, I think it was a TR6, the first car I drove here maybe, and I was just like, all right, I get this now, and driving various other classics, it makes sense to me why people want these cars kept on the road and why they spend their money maintaining them and restoring them. And yeah, I think for me now, I can't imagine that I won't have a classic now. I think there's always a classic in there.
Bring back memories for people.
Yeah.
But also, I think, like you say about kids, I think it creates memories.
Yeah,
I mean,
definitely.
we've all had lots of cars along the way, but me and my little lad have probably had more fun in the Defender.
Yes.
It's a baked bean tin,
Yeah,
apparently.
yeah.
It's a horrible thing to drive,
Yeah.
apparently. But I love driving it. He loves going to school in it. And I think in years to come, that will probably be the car that he remembers and talks about.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think, it's just, from my point of view, when I'm driving it, I feel like I'm driving it, but not in a bad way. I really like it. It's so simple and so basic, but I actually have to drive it. Whereas in more modern cars, obviously you're still driving it, but there's a lot less for you to do. It tells you when you need to stop reversing. It tells you when, you need to change gear or whatever it is.
But you've even said that your Astra lets you down more times
Yep.
than your MG
So
has.
since I've had the Magnet, I've had 2 issues with my 2013 Vauxhall Astra and none with my Magnet.
Interesting.
And I've driven my Magnet a lot more. So I think I got it in April. So what's that, maybe 6 months ago, and I'm coming up to 2,000 miles covered in it.
Wow.
And it's never let me down.
Never missed a beat.
Are you a classic car lover then?
I think I might be a classic car.
But thank you for the comment, because that's really interesting for us moving forward. You naturally look at, like you say, 2 doors or 2-seaters, because you naturally think that that's what a classic car should be, an MGB, a Triumph. So it's interesting that people who follow us also like the 4-door family cars.
Well, I think typically when you think of classic cars, you assume the older generation has them because they remember them. But actually, I think that's changing a lot. I think there's a lot more younger people and a wide variety of people who are actually enjoying classics now.
Yeah. And when I'm driving around out and about and I see younger people with a classic, they do tend, I think, to go for more the kind of 70s classics.
Definitely. Like the Zephyr.
Like the Zephyr, and all different types of kind of like ones that, okay, you think at the time you'd have been like, oh my gosh, why is someone driving that rust bucket around? But now it's really cool.
Yeah.
Which is really interesting, and I've noticed it a lot when we do car shows and we've gone out to car shows as well. There's a lot more younger people around.
Absolutely.
And it's fantastic.
And in my Magnet as well, so my Magnet is not a show car, like it's used, there's rust patches and a few imperfections in the paint. But even kids, if I'm driving past them, they'll wave and they'll point, they all know it's a classic car, and it is just a really nice talking point.
So keep the comments coming in if there's cars you want to see. So obviously at the moment we've got the Zephyr live.
The Zephyr's live. It's an absolutely amazing example. It really is.
It's doing all right though, isn't it? Sales?
Yeah, I thought it would have immediately gone.
Right.
But yeah, it's doing well, and I think it will sell out.
Yeah.
I think whoever wins that,
They'll be well happy.
They'll be.
I mean, that
You can't
is.
not be.
I
know.
would say that is potentially a show-winning car.
Definitely.
Oh,
that
gosh.
one.
100%.
Yeah.
Even the history on it. I mean, there's got YouTube videos about it. It's got tons of photos through the restoration. It's only a young lad. I've mentioned this before. A young lad who restored it. He has done an absolutely incredible job. That will definitely be a show winner.
Yeah,
Do
100%.
you reckon he'd want a job here?
I don't know. He's up north. That would be great if he did. It'd be superb. But...
We'd just get loads of Zephyrs in. Just do that again.
Do that again.
Yeah.
So what else have we got?
So we've got our MG Live, our 1973 MGB Roadster, which is doing quite well at the moment. I mean, normally, though, when we do an MG, they're sold out in the first couple of seconds. But yeah, I mean, there's been a bit of controversy about the luggage rack.
Oh yeah, the luggage rack.
The luggage rack
The thing is that no
controversy.
one knows. I mean, you have comments on Facebook all the time going, oh, it's the wrong way around, I'd change it. Nick had a really good point that why is it the wrong way around? 'Cause in theory, the bit at the bottom is to stop the luggage from falling off. And if you look at pictures online,
Yeah.
most of them are that way round. But you always get, as soon as you get an MGB Roadster, you always get someone start a conversation to say it should be the other way around.
I mean, and if you've not been to Scouts, this is something that Nick said, if you've not been to Scouts and you don't tie your knots properly, if it's not the way round that it is now, they are literally,
I mean,
your
I'm
luggage
just-
is going to be all over the road.
I'm just assuming people think it's the other way around so you can tie the bag up at the top. Who knows? It makes more sense for it to be that way so the bag has
Yeah.
got a little...
I might be wrong, but every MGB we've had in here with a luggage rack, they've all been that way.
And every MGB we've had in has the same comment from people. So.
Well, it's personal taste. If you don't like it, you can just
Turn it round.
undo it and turn it round.
And if your luggage falls off, it's not our fault.
So Tuesday we're back. We've got the draw of the MGB.
Yes.
Mention Tuesday because it's slightly changing, isn't it?
Oh, yes. So on Tuesday, we've got the live draw of our MGB, but we actually are going to go live on YouTube rather than Facebook. So there'll be a little reminder on Facebook saying, oh, we're about to start our live draw, but we're going to do it from YouTube. So just follow the link, hop onto YouTube, and you'll be able to see us do the live draw as normal, but just on a different platform for a bit of a change. And the fun doesn't stop here at Bridge Classic Cars because we're going to Goodwood this weekend. It's going to be very exciting. Craig's going to catch up with his old friend Dieter Von Teese.
Took a little longer to feel confident, and also with the track drying out, but Top Gun, they seem to work out. Sort of larger pastures, but it's great to see these cars.
And we will see you all on Tuesday.